Well, that was a run through of the circle of fifths arpeggio exercise, and playing at the speed at which I played it there, it only took about 2 minutes to do that practice session. I didn't do a lot of practice sessions. I think that was the second take that I did. Um, you could see that my articulation on each note wasn't perfect and so forth. But the main point of what I'm doing here right now is learning the circle of fifths, remembering what key comes next and where to go on the fretboard. So right now I want to give some tips if you're a newbie like I am, if you're a beginner at this. Although I've been playing music for many years, this was a new learning experience for me, and I want to give you some tips that might encourage you as you learn this. So we're going to do that now. The first thing is to tell yourself that this is not difficult. Now I know it may, for some of you, you may have already mastered this long ago. Others are just starting, and this, if you're just starting out, this may seem like a daunting task. You may find yourself having to look at a PDF or a printout of the exercise. You have to refer to that to see where you're supposed to be. You've got to refer to maybe a circle of fifths to know what chord comes next, and you have to juggle some things around, and it seems like a very, very, very difficult task. Fact is that it really is not all that difficult if you continue to practice, and so it doesn't really take that many sessions to start getting the hang of this and to know where you're supposed to go on your mandolin. So first off, convince yourself that this is something that you can do, and though it may seem difficult at first, believe in yourself that this will get easy if you, over several days or weeks, if you continue practice sessions with this, you'll find that it comes pretty quickly. The next thing is that once you get it, once you begin to figure this out, it would be very, very good practice to think of what chord change is coming up next, and to think in your mind, think of the note that you're about to play on your mandolin. This will help you to learn the fretboard of the mandolin, at least with the third and fourth strings. You'll begin to learn where those notes are, where you need to be and where you need to begin. And if you say these in your mind, if you say the coming up chord in your mind and you try to visualize on the mandolin where that note is, it's going to go a long way to helping you learn the fretboard as well as the circle of fifths. Okay, the next tip is simply to persevere. And what I mean by that is that you're going to find that your mind wanders. You'll forget when you're first learning all this. You'll forget where the next note is. You'll forget what position your hand needs to move to. You may forget what chord is coming up next. And there may be a lot of stops and starts in the beginning as you work on this exercise. But the key is to persevere. And take it from me, just believe me and have faith in yourself. It will not take long to get this if you persevere in your practice. So what will happen is that over time you'll begin to learn by ear where to go. And if you're thinking about the notes a little bit in your mind as you go along, you will begin to memorize automatically and just learn the notes and the sounds together on the fretboard, on the backing track, on your mandolin. Okay, the fourth tip that I have for you here is to master this exercise. Master this lesson. In the days ahead, we are going to be studying a lot of other things. We're going to be studying some minor scales, and we're going to study minor arpeggios, seventh arpeggios. We're going to be studying the pentatonic scales and things like that. And when we do those, we're going to again use the circle of fifths to play scales and things like that. So it's pretty important in order for you to progress that you really master this, or at least get very, very comfortable with it before you move too much further. Now, when it comes to mastering this, it's going to depend on a few things. It's going to depend, first of all, on how much value do you put on doing this, on knowing this, and on learning this. If you believe it's a valuable skill, then that will go a long way toward motivating you. Secondly, it will depend on how much time you have to put on it. We all have different schedules. There are different amounts of times that we have to devote to our exercises and our practices. And so some of you may already know all of this. Some of you may begin to get a handle on it in a week or 2 weeks or perhaps a month. But the more that you spend a little time, it doesn't have to be a long amount of time, but as long as you spend a little time in different sessions in the days ahead, it'll begin to click for you. You'll begin to get it. The fifth tip that I have is for those who are interested in more in-depth studies of arpeggios. And there is a very, very good video lesson that is sold by Homespun Videos, in which Mike Marshall teaches a bunch of arpeggio exercises. It's called Mike Marshall's Mandolin Arpeggio Workout, or something very, very similar to that, and it's at homespuntapes.com. So if you're interested in learning from a master and having more exercises for arpeggios around the circle of fifths and in different keys, I would suggest that you pick that up. They often go on sale if you're on the Homespun mailing list. So, till next time, peace, love, and mandolins.